going to do things with energy and with land, interior, that is going to be incredible.
A push towards what President Trump's administration calls a golden era of American energy dominance. For months, the executive branch has touted plans to boost the country's energy supply. One step they say we need to take, prioritizing the development of new energy technology, like cold fusion and next-generation nuclear reactors. I'm KXAN Senior Science Reporter Eric Henrikson, in collaboration with our media partners at The Hill in a project supported by the Pulitzer Center. KXAN is exploring how this push for new technology could impact the industry that helps define Texas, and why recent funding cuts are putting that plan in jeopardy.
We continue to set new records every summer.
Everything is bigger in Texas. That includes energy consumption.
The Texas grid is about 85,000 megawatts. That's been growing over time, and it's generally expected to start growing even faster now.
Joshua Rhodes with UT Austin studies growth and demand in the energy industry, driving the need a queue of projects coming to Texas, which to operate would require almost 100,000 additional megawatts of power, essentially doubling the size of the Texas grid. Among these projects, data centers.
They want to have power 24/7. It doesn't, cycle up in the afternoon and down during the night like the residential sector does.
A potential source for this 24/7 power? Nuclear energy.
This is an energy source that actually was 6% of global energy 25 years ago, and it's been shrinking.
U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright says the development of next-generation nuclear is key to the administration's energy plans.
But we got to get it started. It's been on the precipice for a decade. We need to make it happen.
Next-generation nuclear reactors come in a few forms, from small modular reactors to more advanced tech.
These advanced molten salt reactors have the ability to provide output heat that is a lot higher temperature. And so it could be used to make electricity, but it could also be used for a lot of industrial purposes.
Kevin Klarno with UT Austin's Nuclear and Radiation Engineering program studies these reactors, one of which will soon be under construction at Abilene Christian University.
In a solid-fueled traditional reactor, you're worried about making sure the fuel doesn't melt. In a molten salt reactor, you start out with fuel that's already melted. And so the worst case scenario is it has a leak, it has an accident, and when it hits the ground and it starts to cool off because the ground is cool, it will solidify and seal itself.
While this particular reactor is privately funded, Professor Klarno says several other projects receive federal funds.
They have been funding a lot of commercial companies to, hey, let's help you get to the process so you can commercialize these technologies.
But that help may now be in jeopardy.
We are merely looking at parts of the big bureaucracy where there has been tremendous waste and fraud and abuse.
Research universities are being caught up in a broader series of actions that are targeted at the administration and some in Congress unhappiness with higher education.
Rob Bradner is a Washington, D.C. attorney experienced with the House Appropriations Committee and federal grants.
There is a pausing of research grants, in other words, the issuance of new ones, which is causing a pipeline problem.
Bradner says it is creating a ripple effect across all research grants.
The administration is expected to more broadly push for reductions in indirect costs on grants outside of NIH to, National Science Foundation, Department of Energy, other major research funders.
According to Bradner, the administration is also asking agencies to not pay on existing grants.
A lot of that I've seen is in it relates to the green stuff, the energy and environmental research that was specifically funded during the Biden administration.
These actions impact research universities.
Universities are starting to take preemptive action to cut back and to reduce the number of graduate students they're bringing in.
I think that ripple is going to come through in the next year.
Professor Klarno says it won't just impact universities, but private researchers who rely on national laboratories to conduct necessary research.
There is risk starting really in October that the national labs aren't going to be able to deliver on those efforts that they're doing to assist the companies.
And unfortunately, people are saying, well, I may have to trim back on that. And I may not be able to do research that has lots of regulatory compliance or lots of other administrative burdens.
It absolutely will delay that work.
We're probably going to have to expand natural gas. Nuclear is probably a solution that's more at least a decade away, but the AI revolution is here today, and it needs power today.
Today, about 10% of the state's energy is supplied by nuclear. Now, there are 2 power plants in the state, one near Dallas and the other is along the coast near Victoria. The new administration has ties directly to some of this technology. Energy Secretary Chris Wright served on the board of a small modular nuclear reactor company, Oklo. He stepped down from that role when he joined the administration. In Texas, state lawmakers are taking action to push for advanced nuclear reactors. On March 7th, Senator Tan Parker filed the Texas Advanced Nuclear Deployment Act. The act provides the Public Utility Commission access to the Texas Energy Fund. The commission can use these funds for grants to promote the development of advanced nuclear reactor projects in Texas. That bill has not yet been referred to a committee. Eric Henrikson, KXAN Investigates.